How's it going, my peeps, and welcome to part 2 of my prediction game video for Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. And as always in part 2, I go into more detail on my prediction. I'm going to give you guys some reasons why I think Dean Ambrose is going to win the matchup, and also maybe think of some reasons why Seth Rollins could possibly win. Although my prediction, my pick, is Dean Ambrose. I really think he's going to win the match, but, you know, there's always some surprises, so, you know, also consider maybe, or, you know, go over a couple of reasons why Seth could possibly win. So anyways, man, I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know about you guys, but out of all the matches on the card, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. And I've been, like, envisioning this Hell in a Cell match, or, you know, I saw it coming since, really, I'd say since the, I don't know if I'd say since the feud started, but I'd say maybe around the time Battleground aired. Because before Battleground, of course, Seth Rollins had already turned his back on Dean Ambrose and Reigns. And then on Money in the Bank, they didn't have a one-on-one match. Money in the Bank was the following pay-per-view, or the closest pay-per-view after Seth Rollins attacked him with a steel chair. And, of course, they were involved in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So there was no one-on-one match between the two right at the next pay-per-view. So at Money in the Bank, of course, you know, Kane came out and he cost Ambrose the matchup, and because of that, Seth Rollins won. And so they still hadn't had a one-on-one match. And around that time, I was thinking, okay, you know, I could see these guys having a Hell in a Cell match, because Hell in a Cell is kind of approaching, you know, the pay-per-view. So it would make sense, but at the same time, you know, it'd have to be dragged out for a while for them to, you know, for the feud to still go on until Hell in a Cell, so they could have a Hell in a Cell match. And you know, they did find a way, actually a bunch of ways to, you know, to continue on this feud without having Ambrose and Rollins face off too much before, you know, this Hell in a Cell match that's taking place this Sunday. Because after Money in the Bank, of course, at Battleground, that's when they were supposed to have their first one-on-one match. But, and just in case somebody in the comment section says, hey, they faced off on NXT or something like that, I'm not counting NXT here. I'm just counting, you know, Raw and SmackDown. Basically, their days after, you know, being in the Shield. So, Battleground, they were supposed to have their one-on-one match. That, of course, did not take place, but Seth Rollins won by forfeit due to Dean Ambrose being escorted out of the arena. But Ambrose, of course, found his way back at the arena and went ahead and attacked Seth Rollins, but bottom line, they didn't fight in an official matchup. So after that, they then went ahead and had, you know, their first official matchup, not, you know, decided via forfeit at SummerSlam in the Lumberjack match, and they proceeded to have a pretty good Lumberjack match. I'd say that was the best Lumberjack match I had ever seen. Lumberjack matches in the past, you know, they weren't, I wasn't really a big fan of Lumberjack matches, but like I said, Ambrose and Rollins put on a really good Lumberjack match. So, after that first one, you know, Seth Rollins won it. And so the heel still, you know, has the advantage. Ambrose hadn't gotten, you know, his hands really on Seth Rollins, and he hadn't beaten him yet. So I was like, you know, no way is this feud, you know, going to end right there. Especially the way it ended at SummerSlam with Kane interfering once again. So then they have another match on Raw, I think it was the next night. And that's when Seth Rollins curb stomped Dean Ambrose, and that's also when, you know, Ambrose was supposed to go ahead and film for the new WWE film. So when that happened, when Seth Rollins hit him with the curb stomp there, I was like, alright, I could definitely see Ambrose now taking, you know, some time off to film the movie, and then once he comes back to set up a Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins. Everything works out perfectly, and that's what we got. But at some point, it actually looked like we might not have seen this, you know, Hell in a Cell match between Ambrose and Rollins, when, of course, Rollins got involved in the Cena and Brock Lesnar match, and that Cena also wanted a piece of Rollins. So then there was rumors about Cena and Ambrose having a matchup at Hell in a Cell to determine who faces Rollins, actually at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and they did announce that, but they, of course, had it on Raw instead, and Ambrose ended up winning it. So before this match took place, we maybe could have seen John Cena versus Rollins, or Rollins and Ambrose versus Cena or something like that. But, you know, I'm happy it is Ambrose versus Rollins one-on-one. And like I said, you know, these guys put on some great matches. They put on a great match at SummerSlam. They put on a great match also on Raw. I'd say, actually, the match they had on Raw was even better than the match they had at SummerSlam. And now, with them having Hell in a Cell, you know, Hell in a Cell surrounding the ring, it adds even more, you know, possibilities to the matchup. Of course, there's no disqualifications, no countouts. They can use weapons. You know, tables have been used in the past inside Hell in a Cell. Same with ladders. So it should be a pretty entertaining matchup. And on top of that, who knows? Maybe they might get out of the Hell in a Cell. I know they haven't done that in a long time. The last Hell in a Cell match where the Superstars actually got out of the Hell in a Cell was Edge versus The Undertaker. That was a while back. I don't remember the year. It might have been 2008 or 2009. I think it's one of the two. I don't think it's 2007. Either way, that was the last Hell in a Cell match where they got outside the ring. Basically, Edge speared Undertaker through the cell, and then I think they fought on the announcer's table or something like that. And that was about it. And then they got back inside the cell. But as far as people actually climbing up, you know, Superstars climbing up the cell, we haven't seen that in a very, very long time, and I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I'd love to see it, though, in this matchup. And if there's going to be a Hell in a Cell match where they do that, I'd love it to be Ambrose versus Rollins. I really think these guys, you know, can put on an awesome Hell in a Cell match. And if they can get out of the Hell in a Cell, or even get on top of the Hell in a Cell, hey, just getting out of the cell, you know, would be cool enough. But, you know, if they can get on top of the cell, that'd be even cooler. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. What do you guys think? Do you guys think they'll actually get out of the Hell in a Cell, or are they going to remain inside the cell? Let me know in the comments. Now, as far as why I think Ambrose is going to win this matchup, the major reason really is because I think this might be the end of the feud, at least for now. And when this feud ends, I'm fully expecting Ambrose to have finally gotten his hands on Seth Rollins and, you know, to finally beat him. So, when you think about it, Hell in a Cell is just the perfect way to end this feud and to have Ambrose finally, you know, get a win over Seth Rollins. Because when you look at the feud, really all Ambrose has been trying to do is get his hands on Seth Rollins without anybody interfering or without Seth Rollins running away. Because that's been the issue this whole time. Well, that's not the issue, but that's the issue that Ambrose has been running into trying to get his hands on Seth Rollins. Because you had Kane interfering, and you had Seth Rollins trying to run away. And so because of that, he, you know, chose the lumberjack stipulation. But the problem with that is Superstars could still interfere, and Kane interfered in the matchup, which allowed Seth Rollins to win the match. So now, Hell in a Cell kind of, you know, eliminates both those problems. Seth Rollins can't run away from the cell, and the cell stops other Superstars kind of from interfering in the matchup. But then again, when you think about Hell in a Cell, and you think about Kane, Kane is actually one of the very few people to have interfered in the Hell in a Cell match. It was actually the first Hell in a Cell match, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. He tore the cell door and got in. So, you know, if somebody can get in, you know, it might be Kane. And of course, you know, Kane has interfered in Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose matchups in the past. And so he might do it at Hell in a Cell too. Who knows? But it's Hell in a Cell, man. It's just a perfect environment, like I said, for Ambrose to finally get the win. But if we do see Kane, I could still see Ambrose actually winning, despite Kane's interference. I could see Ambrose overcoming that and still winning, but I could also see if Kane interferes, maybe Seth Rollins picks up the win, or if the feud is not going to end at Hell in a Cell, then I could definitely see Seth Rollins picking up the win too. But the thing is, I think the feud is going to end, at least for the moment, at Hell in a Cell, and for that reason, I'm sticking with Ambrose as my pick. And on top of all of that, Ambrose has yet to get a win over Rollins. So I think it's about time, and I think that time is going to be this Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can click that like button down below. With that said, I'm out. See ya.